Thursday Night Football.
Na 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 na.
Yes. Are you kidding me? 2-11-3 teams. Rams. This is a division battle here. Rams and Seahawks tied for first in the conference and obviously in the NFC West. And the winner of this game, unless I'm crazy, will have the 1 seed for the time being.
Well, both could be true.
Yeah. Right now, let's see. Right now, Seattle, because the Rams are the 1
How the
seed.
reindeer's right on Dave's forehead.
Right now, Seattle is the 5 seed.
No, put it back.
So that's what's at stake. You're either the 1 seed or the 5 seed.
This is like Minnesota and Detroit last year.
At the very end of the year? Yeah.
Oh, Sam Darnold was great in that game.
Oh, boy. Oh, Jamie. Oh, man. Bringing that up. Okay. So these are 2 of the top.
That's bad. Wait till you hear about Sam Darnold against the Rams.
Oh, I already know. Yeah.
Until you see that these are 2 of the top 3 defenses in football. Points per game allowed. Houston's first, Seattle's second, Rams are third. Yards per play, Seattle's first, Rams are seventh. I love this stat. These 2 teams have allowed a combined 7 running back carries of more than 13 yards. Seattle's allowed 4, and 2 of them were to Kyren Williams. And the Rams have allowed 3 running back carries longer than 13 yards, and 1 of them was to Ken Walker. So let's start with this. Who are the easy starts in this game, Jamie?
Puka Nacua, Jackson Smith-Njigba, and I'm going to say Matthew Stafford, Colby Parkinson, Kyren Williams.
So all of the Rams, basically. That's fine. I mean, it's funny.
I mean, I'm just not sitting those guys. In the case of Parkinson, I'm starting him. But in the case of the normal Rams that I'd be starting, like I'm not benching Kyren Williams.
All right, Dave, who are the easy starts for you?
Basically the same guys. I don't think Colby Parkinson will take a little bit of courage. I know that it's a good matchup and he's been rolling great and you can make the case for, his red zone skills. It makes him easier to start, but it's still Colby Parkinson. It's still not necessarily a great situation. And it's a tough position. And there is a part of me that is a scared little boy that this ends up being a low scoring, sloppy, back and forth game where the defenses dominate. And so I can't help myself. It's not like I can really build a convincing case to sit Nacua and Njigba, Stafford, although he's not ranked as high as he normally is, and Kyren Williams. Like those guys, I think they're locked in. I think everybody else you've got to at least question, and that does include Parkinson.
Include Stafford for me. So if we look at what I would consider his tough matchups, he scored 15.6 fantasy points against Houston in week 1, 17.8 fantasy points at Philadelphia. This is all 6-point per passing touchdown leagues. 11.3 fantasy points at Baltimore with Puka Nacua leaving with an injury. I don't even know if that was a tough matchup at that point. I think it was. 17.2 points against Seattle on 28 pass attempts. 15.6 fantasy points at Carolina. And then the only team that was ranked in the top 10 at the time of playing Stafford, I believe that he had a good game against, was Arizona, but they've kind of fallen apart. And that was a couple of weeks ago. Mm-hmm. So basically, he has not been good in tough matchups. He scored only 17.2 fantasy points against Seattle. I went back, I watched every throw, and he had some chances there. It could have been a better game. They only had the ball for 22 minutes. But he averaged 4.6 yards per attempt. That was a season low by far. There was a Puka Nacua. There was an underthrown ball to Puka Nacua that could have been a big play. Basically, my takeaway was he could have had a decent game, but he was a little off. Seattle's really good. So, look, I mean, Stafford's 8th for you, Jamie, I think, and like 11th for Dave or something.
No, he's 6th for me.
Oh, he's 11th for Heath.
Again, I think if you have Brissett, you have Purdy,
Goff.
That's probably the extent of any other waiver wire guys or guys that might have been dropped at some point during the season. Like I'm not starting J.J. McCarthy or Gardner Minshew over Matthew Stafford. That's crazy.
No, but Stafford himself was a waiver wire guy, so it's very possible that people have Jalen Hurts and Matthew Stafford.
Sure. Well, I mean, again, if you've been dealing with that situation all season long, so we just got that question in the chat from Eddie, like Stafford or Hurts, like you go Hurts. That's understandable. And I would go Brissett over Stafford also. So,
yep.
If you have, some quarterbacks who are in good matchups and playing well. I get it, and another waiver wire guy, just based on how the situation unfolded, is Joe Burrow. And I think you can make a case Burrow over Stafford also, just because of his matchup. But
so do it. Yeah, put your feet to the fire here. Burrow or Stafford?
Right now, I believe I have Stafford one spot ahead of Burrow, but I could see myself changing that one, especially if the weather is bad in Seattle. Look, he doesn't have Davante Adams. That's a big part of this also. So yeah. I just think, like, again, this is the type of decision that you make. And if it goes wrong, you are going to feel very awful about your fantasy season the entirety of the next 8 months. He's just too good. I think Seattle's defense is amazing. There's no question about it. But he's the MVP of the NFL for a reason, or he's, top 2 in the discussion for a reason. And this is the type of game where you expect him to rise above and play at a good enough level. Is he going to have 30 points? I doubt it. Is he going to get you in that 20 to 25 point range? That's kind of where I'm expecting. That's why I have him ranked that way. So a good enough game to where Stafford helps you win isn't the reason why you win.
Okay.
I wouldn't rule out a 3-touchdown game, just because I think Seattle's offense is not going to hold up its end of the bargain, and it could turn into turnovers that give Stafford some advantageous field position and could lead to maybe an extra possession or two that ends in a touchdown. He's still tough matchup on the road. If the weather's really bad, then obviously that's going to drive down his ceiling too. But assuming that there isn't a major weather issue, I think you still have to consider the literal ceiling for Stafford. And he still can be the QB1 even in this tough matchup, because in part, I don't think Seattle's offense is going to do very well.
I think it is going to rain. It's supposed to rain in this game. So
I thought I saw cloudy and not rain. I'll double check right now. I actually have this thing called a computer. I can use.
I think it's going to rain. But no, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be bad. Now, Kyren Williams. All right, let's do this. Sit Sam Darnold, right? Like, we don't really want to Trevor Lawrence, but we'd rather start him than Darnold.
He's combined for 18 fantasy points in his last 2 meetings against the Rams. One with the Vikings in the playoffs, and the 4-point dud that he had with the 4 interceptions this year.
They totally have his number. It's going to be. I had a league where my quarterbacks were Mahomes and Darnold. And the whole idea was Darnold's the backup in case anything happens to Mahomes. Well, something has happened to Mahomes, and I'm going to keep Darnold because maybe I'll use him in week 17 if I win this week. I spent a good amount of fab to lock up Tyler Shuck, and I'm starting Tyler Shuck in the fantasy playoffs. What the hell is wrong with me? But here I am doing that because I lost Mahomes, and I'd rather start Shuck. I'd rather start most of those waiver wire QBs over Darnold, because not only have the Rams had his number, but he might be without his starting tackle, Charles Cross, and that's a big loss for Seattle. That's going to be tough on them.
And we've got to get away from Ken Walker at this point, right? I mean,
totally.
Okay.
I mean, it's unfortunate because
that's not even a hard call anymore.
But you guys had the argument, I'll use that word loosely, about had he been running well. And I think you were right, Adam. He has been running well. They just don't give him enough chances. They don't give him the high-level touches. The work in the passing game has gone away. Like, it was kind of shocking that he had the game against the Rams that he did, because at that point, even then, he wasn't playing very well.
Now, Kyren, on the other hand, so he just keeps producing, and they run on everyone. I mean, tough matchups, it does not matter. He had 12 carries for 91 yards and a touchdown against Seattle, but he doesn't catch the ball very often, and he's rarely more than 13 carries. He had 15 last week. He had 2 touchdowns.
I mean, they play 8 offensive linemen at times.
All right, so Kyren, he's not in the top 12, but he's not far. I mean, I assume he'll be started in most leagues. Would you start Bucky Irving or Kyren Williams?
I would take the chance on Bucky, but it's close.
Javonte Williams or Kyren Williams?
Javonte,
but it's close.
Jonathan Taylor or Kyren?
JT.
Taylor.
All right. And then Corum, we can't trust. If he doesn't score, he's in trouble. So, yeah, should we even do an if Adams plays? I mean, if Adams plays, would you trust him?
Yeah. I'd lower expectations.
I think it's hard not to start Adams if he's out there in your fantasy semifinals. But again, who you're comparing him to. So, some of the guys that we named, I would start him over McMillan, over McConkey, over, those guys. It'd be a tough call, let's say, with like a Cortland Sutton right now, or, Michael Wilson's easy, so I don't think it's a slam dunk, but for the most part, you're starting him.
3 for 30 and a touchdown. Wouldn't surprise me if he goes without practicing all week and then he shows up for the game.
Okay, so then let's talk about Colby Parkinson. We talked about him a lot on yesterday's show, but you guys have him in the top 10, I believe. Heath is not as high on Colby Parkinson. I thought we'd have a chance to talk about that. Unfortunately, Heath doing something charitable today, so he wasn't able to join the show. But he has a touchdown in 5 of his last 6 games. In his last 6 games, he has 14 red zone targets, 7 green zone targets in 6 games, and 5 end zone targets. It's unbelievable.
5 touchdowns.
And he's been running a lot of routes lately. Seattle allows the 6th most fantasy points to tight ends. I'm nervous that it's going to be a different tight end that's good in this game, just randomly. That kind of happens sometimes with these teams that play 3 tight ends. But I am excited to in a week where I think tight end really sucks, I'm excited to start Colby Parkinson. Like I'm starting him over Tyler Warren, and I'm probably starting him over Dalton Schultz. So I don't know how you feel about those two guys.
I would too. I dropped Warren in the league last night to pick up Colby Parkinson. It felt gross.
Yeah.
Felt really gross. I'm probably going to do the same thing in another league too, where I'm dropping Tyler Warren because his last 3 weeks have been miserable, and I don't trust Phillip Rivers, even though the matchup's not horrible. But this matchup is great. The opportunity is great. We could easily get burned by this, similar to Isaiah Likely last week, although the track record for Parkinson is a little bit safer because of the touchdowns. You don't want to chase touchdowns, but he's done it so many times. He's done it against his team, and this team has been bad against tight ends. I mean, I'll go back to it. My favorite, here's why Seattle sucks against tight ends, is the Max Brosmer game where TJ Hawkinson had one of his best games of the season, despite Brosmer turning the ball over every chance he got. They just do not defend the position well. Now, that may change because of the lack of Davante Adams on the field, and they could focus more on trying to take away Parkinson and Ferguson and Davis Allen and the 3 tight ends that they use. But that's why the Rams and Sean McVay are so creative. Getting those 3 guys on the field together, it's hard to defend that. And clearly right now, Parkinson is locked in with Stafford. And you just saw a game where Adams got hurt. And as you mentioned yesterday, Adam, it wasn't just because Adams got hurt, but we saw season-high 7 targets, season-high 5 catches, season-high 75 yards receiving, and season-high 2 touchdowns. Like, you don't get a better example of this guy is hot right now. Matchup's great. Opportunity's great. Like, it's all sort of falling in line. It's worth taking the chance on. If it blows up in your face, it's going to blow up my face, your face, a lot of people's faces, just because of how this could go, because it's Colby Parkinson and the track record of his career is what it is. But there's also a sample size of a Rams tight end at the end of the season getting really hot and helping a lot of fantasy managers win championships once upon a time. So this offense has done it before. I think they could do it again. Tyler Higbee about 4 or 5 years ago.
Don't forget that his main competition for red zone targets has been Davante Adams. And so if Davante Adams isn't around, that should open up the door. It makes him trustworthy. It's just, how far does that trust really go? If you've started Isaiah Likely last week, or if you've been slogging through Warren, it's easy to go with Parkinson over them.
Give me your quick thoughts on Rashid Shaheed, who's had a couple of start-worthy games, Dave, in a row.
Should have had a touchdown last week. It was a bad throw by Sam Darnold on a post route that if he had caught, we'd feel a lot better about Shaheed. I think you have to be really desperate at receiver to go with Rashid Shaheed.
Okay. And then the DSTs. Which DST do you guys like better?
Rams.
I believe I have the Rams ranked higher. And if not, I should.
Seattle Rams DST against good offenses. They were bad at Philadelphia, bad twice against San Francisco. They were great at Jacksonville. Well, that was in London. They weren't really that good, bad. They were great against Seattle, great against Tampa Bay. So they've had some success there. Seattle's DST against good offenses. Very good against the Niners, terrible against the Bucks, terrible at the Rams. Kind of mixed results for them. It's a tough call. Start the Chiefs over these two?
Yes.
Yeah.
Start the Bills over them?
Yeah.
I think I would.
Okay. All right, let's go to the chat and see what people were asking here. How about Drake May or Matthew Stafford?
Stafford,
but it's close.
Kyron Williams or Travion Henderson?
I believe they're back-to-back. And I feel safer with Kyron, but
that's how I feel. I struggle with this because, Henderson had a huge game last week, but like one of those touchdown runs was fluky to me. And we know what the body of work has been with him and Ramondre Stevenson. Now, maybe the post-bye production kicks in for the rookie. I don't think either one has clearly an easy matchup here. But as Dave said, I feel a little bit safer with Kyron.
Bowers or Parkinson?
Still Bowers for me.
Warren or Parkinson?
Colby.
Parkinson.
Stafford or Bo Nix? And Blake Corum or Parkinson in the flex?
I would go both Rams.
Yep.
Man, I feel like I want to go Bo Nix there.
I get it.
Good matchup.
That I
at
get.
home, you know. Burrow, Stafford, or Stroud?
Stafford has him now.
Agreed. I think I'll keep it that way. The thing about Bo Nix is if they don't have RJ Harvey, if he manages to miss this game, what's left in their backfield? I think it just puts more on the plate of Bo Nix. He could have another outstanding game.
Stafford.
And he basically did have an outstanding game with RJ Harvey last week against a tougher opponent. I could talk myself into Bo Nix over Stafford.
Okay, Stafford or Jordan Love?
Stafford.
Kyron Williams or Travion? Oh, did that. Sorry.
We did that one.
Blake Corum, Algier, or Rico Dowdle?
Rico.
Colby Parkinson or Dallas Goedert?
Parkinson.
So I have Goddard, I think, a notch ahead of Parkinson in my rankings. He's been part of the key to the offensive turnaround. I'm using air quotes in Philadelphia.
And last one, Prescott or Stafford?
Dak.
Stafford. Matthew Stafford.
You said Dak, Jamie?
No, I'm sorry. I changed that this morning. Stafford.
All right. We spent a lot of time on that game. Hopefully it was helpful. It's a big one, and that is Thursday Night Football.
Nah.